Hello and welcome back to Art for Everybody. My name is Evi Steiner-Böhm. I'm an artist from Germany. And these two little characters here are called Pedro and Rosa. And they are my assistants who remind me to explain things in a way so that they are easy for beginners to understand. Today I would like to show you how you can mix greens for painting plants, and I will also show you a trick that you can do so that you can make leaves come to the foreground or go to the background. So let's get to my studio and start working. Before I start painting, the first thing I do is I decide which painting surface I'm going to use. And I've already decided for this gray carton because I wanted to have a colored surface. And the other thing I do is that I choose the colors I'm going to use. And you see that I've put many colors on my palette. I'm not going to use all of them, but I want to try and find out the right colors for the greens I'm going to need. And I've pinched a leaf of my little plant, and you maybe can see that it's very dark. And I quite don't like the dark, so I'm probably going to change the color of this leaf a little more to my liking. And this is what I said in the last lesson. Painting is not only about matching the exact colors of your motif, but it's also matching your emotions. And that, of course, is what makes your painting authentic. So I'm going to try out all the different colors I have on my palette now to find out which of the blues and the yellows and the reds I will have to use to get the colors that I want and the colors that I see. And also what you have to do is you have to decide on the style you want to paint in. With this brush, your style will be very painterly, it will be very impressionistic, and with a brush like this, with a synthetic brush, it will be very smooth and more like a photograph. So I'm going to show you both the brushes, but I'm going to paint with my bristle brush. If you don't like the style I'm going to use, please feel free to use other brushes and have a very different result. Okay, so I put my leaf here and I'm going to mix my greens from blues and yellows. You can of course use ready-made greens, that is the same principle, but I'm used to painting only with the basic colors, so this is how I work. Okay, I have a Prussian blue here, an ultramarine blue, a primary blue, I have lemon yellow, yellow ochre, cadmium yellow, titanium white, cadmium red, and burnt sienna. And I'm going to try out now the blues with the different yellows and see what color I get. So you can see that you get many different tones of green if you use different blues and different yellows. You can get even more tones if you add burnt sienna and cadmium red. I'm not going to do that. This would lead too far. I just wanted to show you what you can do. I'm going to use the Prussian blue and the cadmium yellow and the burnt sienna for my painting, and of course white. So the next thing is the brush you're going to use. And I'm going to show you the bristle brush first. Okay. And this is how it would look if you use a synthetic brush. So I hope you can see the difference between the two brushes. This one is a lot smoother, so if you like more photographic paintings, this would be the brush of your choice. And if you want to paint in a impressionistic style, you would have to use the bristle brush. So I'm going to paint my plant now. As I said, I'm only going to use 3 basic colors and white. And of course, if you want to paint along, you can do it as I do. If you don't like it, you can, of course, use as many colors as you choose. I've already done a sketch of my little pot plant. I've changed the arrangement a little bit because I wanted leaves to overlap and wanted them in a different position, but it should be about the same as you see it on the photograph now. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to block in the colors, which means I'm going to mix basically 3 or 4 different tones of green, a middle tone, which is about the color that I see in the leaves, and a lighter one, a darker one, and maybe a 4th one for the leaves in the background. I'm going to tell you what that is all about in a minute. And I'm going to do all the leaves and of course the little pot and the background. And only if I have finished that, I'm going to model the different leaves. So if I start painting now, I'm going to start with the darkest tone. This is not a rule, of course. You can start with the middle tone and then go to light and go to dark. Just do what feels best for you. So I try to see in my leaves the darkest tones first now. And I see that this one is fairly dark. This part of the leaf is fairly dark. And I see this one fairly dark. And this side. Okay, there is only this leaf in the background left, and I'm going to use a trick from landscape painting for the leaves in the background because I'm going to make it paler and bluer. That is what you do, like if you paint hills in the background, which are very far away. There is this rule in landscape painting which says make them paler and bluer, meaning you just add a little more blue and white into your green, and you get a very pale and very blue green. And that makes it go to the background because you can almost not see it. And in the second layer, I'm going to use this bluish tone also on the leaves, which are a little further behind the ones in the foreground. So my little pot should be very easy to paint. This is simply burnt sienna. with white. And for the shadow, I'm going to add a little blue. So the next thing is the background, which is simply a kind of gray, but I'm going to make it a little greenish so that it matches the leaves of my little pot plant. And gray is very easy to mix. You simply use your basic colors, very tiny amounts of the basic colors. And in impressionistic paintings, this doesn't have to be the same color everywhere, but it can vary, because that makes your painting interesting. It can be darker and lighter, can have different shades of gray, like more red, more yellow. And the good thing is that this is the first layer. You can always paint over it again if you don't like it. Okay, this is the blocking stage, and in the next step I'm going to model each of my leaves again, and will try to give it more variations of green, but still only using my 3 basic colors. And working in layers is something that you do in oil painting, and you might have seen that already by using a gray surface, I have all kinds of variations of green, because the gray from the surface sort of works with your colors. They change your colors, and you have all different kinds of yellows and greens just by the mixture with the gray of my surface. Okay, as I said, these 2 leaves and this one, I want to go a little in the background, so I'm going to make them a little more blue, a little bluer, and I will make the ones in the foreground a little warmer, and I'm going to use more yellow and a little of my burnt sienna in the foreground with them. So what is left to do now is do all the detail work. I'm going to do very few of the lines on the leaves with dark and light color. And I'm going to put some accents beneath the little pot, you know, very dark accents where it's on the table. And then I will add some lights on the leaves, and then I should be done. Okay, this is my finished painting. I'm going to leave it like that. I hope you can see what I wanted to show you, that you have warmer colors in the foreground, and the more you get into the background, the bluer and the paler your leaves have to get. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you will join me again for the next lesson when we are going to draw an animal together. So, until then, see you soon. Bye bye.